Hey, this is Casey Demchek. And you know what? Successful book launches leave clues, and successful book launches leave lessons. And what I want to do today is teach you some of the top lessons I've learned from the many successful book launches I've been involved with. And I think if you take these lessons I'm going to teach you, apply them to your book marketing in 2022, you're going to sell more books, make a bigger impact, and have a lot more fun. So to do this, we're going to go straight to my trusty dusty example board here. We're going to get that up and we'll get this going for you. And again, we're going to call this this week's video Big Book Launch Lessons. I've been lucky enough to write the marketing copy for over 36 books that have become Amazon bestsellers. I'm also a copywriter for Jeff Walker and his product launch formula team. And this year, Jeff relaunched a book, a new edition of his book launched, and it was really successful. And from between that launch and all the other successful launches I've worked on with books and also long-term promotions for books, I've learned a lot of cool lessons, a lot of commonalities in there that I think will really help you. So let's get right into those lessons. The first one is set a date and do it. I've worked with a lot of writers who kind of procrastinate, put their project off for a while, don't really have a defined, they want to get their book done, or maybe they don't want to get their book done, but they don't really set a date and just do it. So what I've noticed with the most successful book launches have been with authors who just set a date and they do it and they go for it on that date. Nothing really gets in their way. And if they got to put in some late nights and some weekends because that date's coming up, they just do it. So that's lesson number one. Set a date and just really go for it. Lesson number two, and this one is gigantic. Choose progress over perfection. The authors I've worked with who've had the most success, the best launches, best long-term promotions, they don't expect to make everything perfect in their launch. I mean, not every little aspect of their artwork, their message, their look, their feel, the technical part of their launch has to be perfect. They're willing to just kind of go for it, put the cart before the horse a little bit. I mean, you want to plan and execute the very best you can, but they don't have a real unrealistic expectation that everything's going to go perfectly. They know everything's not going to go perfectly, but they choose to just keep moving forward, make progress over perfection. So you don't want to get caught up in thinking everything has to be perfect, because it's not going to be. And when you get caught in that perfection trap, you procrastinate and you delay the launch and the promotion of your book. Okay, take a quick break here. I love making these videos for you, but I want to tell you how you can get some more free goodies from me. Love to give you a copy of my ebook, 7 Must-Know Copywriting Secrets That Sell More Books. You can get that at caseydemchek.com/secrets if you don't have it already. You can also just pop on down into the description of this video, and I got a link there for you. You can just click it, take you right to a page where you can download this free ebook. I've got a lot of tips in there. Within those 7 must-know secrets, I got a bunch of little tips. So there's actually a lot more than 7 tips in there. Definitely something you want to have within arm's reach of you while you're writing your book marketing copy. So I highly recommend you get your hands on a copy of my ebook. Back to the lessons from the big launches I've worked on. The third one is provide over-the-top value. I've done videos on how you should always offer bonuses when you're doing your book launch or your book release or long-term promotions for your book. And the most successful authors I've worked with, they've never held back with bonuses. They never thought, well, I don't want to reveal too much information that's in my book or too much about my coaching programs or online programs. They always but they always make it a point to provide a lot of value. They never worry about revealing too much. And this is a really smart strategy, because when you show to your audience that you're very giving with your information, it kind of creates, it kind of sets off a mental trigger called reciprocity, where, your audience is more bound to think, wow, this author's really sharing a lot of valuable stuff with me, giving me a lot of insight into their writing process, or they're giving me free bonuses or free interviews that they're doing. And they're really giving me a lot. They really seem like a go-giver. So I want to buy their book. I want to do something for them. That's what reciprocity is. So when you're plotting out your launch and your release or any special promotions and you're doing bonuses, go over the top with the value that you provide your readers, and it'll really pay off for you in the long run. Lesson number 4, this kind of ties into the lesson I gave you about putting progress over perfection. And this one is course correct, adjust, and keep going. When I've worked with successful authors who, and successful authors always think beyond just releasing or launching their book. They always have in mind, I want to do long-term promotions. I want to be on author summits. I maybe want to turn my book into an online program if it's a nonfiction book, but they always think I want to market my book for the long term. And to have any kind of long-term marketing promotion, you got to have good book marketing copy. You got to have a good strategy and plan, overall plan. You got to have social media plans. And the authors I work with who do real well, they know, again, that they're not going to do everything perfectly. And as they move forward with their programs, they keep an eye on what's working, what doesn't work. They course correct and adjust. Sometimes they go into they think certain actions are going to work out real well, and they don't. But then they notice that ones that they hadn't planned on working real well do work well, and they kind of go in that direction. So keep moving through your long-term promotion for your book. Always have the mindset that, okay, my battle plan doesn't have to be perfect. I could just get it going and then take notice of what's working, what's not working, course correct and adjust. But the main thing is to keep going. Lesson number 5. This is a huge one. Actually, there's 2 lessons in this one. This is kind of like a lesson 5, lesson 6 kind of thing. Maintain a positive attitude and build relationships. The best-selling authors I work with who do really well with their long-term promotions of their book, they always think of, how can I make this work? They never think of things like, I don't know, there's a lot of books in my category and I'm competing with a lot of people. They never slouch and talk, like this may not work. They're always thinking, how am I going to make this work? I always like to use the comparison. They're like dogs trying to dig out of a yard. In your neighborhood when you were a kid, there's always a dog trying to get out of its yard, and the owner would put barriers all over the yard trying to keep the dog from digging out. But then one day you'd hear that the dog made it out. I mean, a dog will just do whatever it takes to dig out of a yard. And so the authors I've worked with who've had successful long-term promotions for their book, they're like that. They just keep digging. If they hit hard pan in one place, they move over to the right and dig at a new spot. But they just keep doing what it takes to achieve the success they want to achieve. They're relentless and they don't give up. And the second part of this is they also build relationships. The old saying, no man is an island or no woman is an island. You can't do everything by yourself. So the authors I work with who are successful with their book over the long haul, they have a lot of strategic partners and friends who also promote their book, or who get them on podcasts, or they get on their friends' podcast. And they kind of trade favors. Hey, get on my podcast, I'll be in yours. But they get help. They have a lot of partners and friends, the people they've built relationships with, who help promote their book. So the days of the writer being in the ivory tower and off by himself and being isolated and writes his book, somebody else markets it, those days are over. You have to be real active with the marketing of your book, and you want to build relationships with people who will also help you market your book and help spread the word for you. So, write your book, be relentless with your promotion, and build a lot of relationships. So these are all kind of the 5 to 6 main lessons that I've taken from all the real successful book launches I've worked on. Not only book launches, but even online program launches or successful long-term promotions of books and products. These are kind of the 5 characteristics I've noticed in all of the authors with whom I've worked. And real quick, these are just a few of the books for which I've written book marketing copy. I like to show this slide every once in a while, just so if you haven't seen many of my videos, you know that what I'm telling you is based on having worked on a lot of book launches and long-term promotions of books. I'm not just pulling this stuff out of thin air. I wish it was that easy. Anywho, I hope these tips have been helpful for you this week. Be relentless with your book promotion. Really go for it. Keep your chin up, have a positive attitude, keep going, make adjustments as you go. And I think if you do that, you'll have a lot of success in 2022. So hope these tips have been helpful. Again, I've got more videos over here that you can check out. I encourage you to watch them. I got a lot of tips and information within all my other videos that will really help you out. Soak up all the information in them, and then take a lot of action and make things happen.